I started trying to have kids way before anybody in my family. My sister has an 11-year-old. Like that just gives you a clue. She just kept having babies and she's my best friend. I think she had 4 kids before I had one. I was trying way before her. So there's like, but you're always presented with a choice, you know? And I think that I learned very quickly that there's this really toxic culture that tries to tell us that our waiting is like wasted or that we have to feel a certain way, you know? Like I learned really quickly that all the chats or the support for women walking through infertility were like, in my experience, I'm sure there's some really beautiful ones, but I just experienced a lot of toxicity of people speaking, resenting their husband, looking at sex like a job, being so angry, all the different things, like all the different things, the doctor's appointments, whatever it may be. I had to get off of all of that and go, I think I have a different journey. And I think that I'm going to protect the joy that God's given me before I ever face this mountain. Like I want to protect it and be grateful through it because there's a lot of good in my life, Yeah. I'm grateful for where I live. I'm grateful, for the time in history that I get to live. Like there's just too many things to be grateful for. And so I decided I had to shut all that stuff out. By doing that, I think it opens up your mind to think differently than what people say you should think in a season. And I understand that like maybe my journey seems like, oh, she was able to do it. But that's not normal. I don't want to pretend like it's some ideal path that I walked and I did it all right. But I do want to be honest to the decisions I made. So it'd be really silly of me to shrink back right now from some pretty radical stances that I took because I think it allowed me to take the power back from the situation, which was I'm going to go to the baby showers. Now, if you go to the baby shower and you make a scene because you're so emotional, that's not the point, right? Like that's not the point. The point is to get your eyes off yourself and to celebrate someone else so that when you have a celebration, that people are able to celebrate you. And what I realized is me choosing to be honest 6 years in, even though it kind of felt like I was naked on stage while I was talking about it, it opened up the door for so many people to pray for me. And I was so grateful for those prayers. And then because I allowed them to pray for me, when the miracle happened, the people that were praying suddenly were celebrating. And it turned into this huge celebration of people that I don't deserve all those people to celebrate me. Like that's God's kindness. But it wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have chosen to be vulnerable with them. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this trade-off, we want to celebrate, but we don't want to walk through the tough parts. And I found that if I could show up to the baby showers and really celebrate them, not so that people look at me and go, oh, she's so strong. I was celebrating baby showers way before I'd shared that I was even walking through infertility, 6 years where people didn't know, but if I could go, it made me, I held the babies, I kissed them, I laughed with them, I fed them, like I hung out with them, and I would get to release some of the love that was in my heart,